Meant to Be Well Summit is created by three incredible women, Ambreen, Valerie and Andrea. The main objective is to bring together experts from around the world to raise awareness about the importance of holistic well-being. This summit aims to explore the multidimensional aspects of well-being, including physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. This isn't just any event, it's a unique, global summit marathon designed to cover all time zones across the globe. We created this event because we genuinely care about you. We believe that everyone deserves to thrive and live a life of well-being. This summit isn't just about learning, it's about transforming your life. Our speakers are dedicated to inspire, uplift, and help you tap into your full potential. Join us, and let these world-class thought leaders guide you toward a higher level of mental, physical, and spiritual well-being.
Hello. So we are back again. Andrea is finishing her day, and I'm starting my day. What a beautiful way to start the day and end the day. I'm so excited, and I'm so enjoying this marathon. I think it's the true essence of the marathon that, we met yesterday, almost at the same time. And when I was starting the summit, and now it's like, one day has passed.
Yeah, we are at the 24 hours line. And I have two marathoners that I would like to appreciate. One of them is Peter. So thank you, Peter, for the 24 hours real interpretation of the marathon. I hope you take care of yourself. And then there was also Alchan, who was there to every session since 3 p.m. He slept like 1 hour. So.
Oh my God. Yes, I really appreciate. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Chan. I mean, he was there and he was actually listening to the sessions. It was not commenting like, just for the comment. I really appreciate your presence. I really like your comment and engagement. Thank you so much for being with us. Like even I couldn't do it because I had to sleep. And then I just told Andrea that I attended my parent-teacher meeting and then I had to rush here. So yeah, it's like, that's life.
No worries. We have been through everything. So in the Asia session, we were focusing on practical things and life experiences and people from all walks of life, just sharing their learnings, their takeaways, their little things that they are actually using in their own life, starting with Brian and Nancy, and then going the laughter therapy. I was trying the first time with Miss Sushi, and then all the way until now, beautiful sessions, panel discussions. Rewatch, guys. There's a lot of value. As we said, this is a marathon, but you don't need to do it like Peter and Alchan, the hardcore guys. You can rewatch it later. You can do it in your own pace. Keep your well-being in focus. And I'm just here to pass the torch to Ambreen. Ambreen, have an amazing few hours with your guests, and then Valerie will be finishing, and I will be popping in just 8 a.m. my morning to say goodbye, and maybe tonight a little bit because we catch Valerie, and three of us will be finally in the same time zone, so you will see us in the same screen. So thank you, Ambreen. Enjoy your sessions.
Thank you so much for for helping us making this happen. Thank you so much and enjoy your day. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so now I'm starting my summit with Andrzej. Welcome to the summit, and we are opening the summit with your session. And this is a very important session. It is about, yesterday we had the session when Andrzej told us about healing from trauma. And now he will be teaching us that how to heal from trauma practically. He will share some practical tips and will make you do some practice so you feel better in a way that, you will feel that healing has come to you. Welcome, Andrzej. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me and giving me this opportunity to bring light and awareness to those that are still struggling, and show them that nothing is set in stone. Even if you have been dealt bad cards by God, you can still win in life. Only if you understand that you're responsible. You are the anvil of your destiny.
Yes, yes. And already, thank you
Peter?
so much, Chen and Peter. Yeah, so let's begin. What are the daily practices we should actually follow? First, yeah.
It varies a lot from
Mm-hmm.
person to person. You cannot really say there is one technique that will work for all. What you can also say that the process is similar though.
Mm-hmm.
If trauma is nothing else than energy stuck in the body, what we
Yeah.
need to do is either get that energy moving or allow it to let go.
Mm-hmm.
So there could be as many ways how to achieve that as there are humans in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So the most important thing is to do the first step, believe in yourself.
Yeah.
In truth, the more you believe in yourself, the stronger your why is. The how becomes less and less important.
Yeah.
I would say that you need to start moving the body because that will build awareness. Ideally, you want to treat all your life as a mindfulness practice. And if that is possible to you at later stages, because I don't recommend actually to do it on your first day, it would be similar to doing the hardest exercise in the gym on your first day. But if you build it slowly, brick by brick, you will find great achievements. Yet, if you would like to use shortcuts, be aware that people that use shortcuts have tendency to get lost and never get back again on the journey. And there is the reason why in the East people start with the body. It's not even kung fu practices, even yoga practices start with the body before moving to the breath. Because if you have a bad posture, that means the blood, the oxygen, the fluids won't be flowing naturally and the flow will be impacted. And that flow has a severe impact of the quality of your life, of the energy, of the trauma. The first practice that is being taught in yoga, kung fu, tai chi chuan is something called rooting, which is long forgotten in the West. And it is a very basic practice. It means only to grab the soil with your feet, using your fingers and heel. And by putting awareness on that, you see there's going to be some stiffness. This is actually not important. What's important is there are so many nerve endings in the foot that if you grasp the soil with your feet, it will stimulate your well-being, massage all the internal organs within you. That this itself is a very good practice for well-being. This itself will be a first step to move the energy. But if there is an excess of energy that is stuck, not necessarily moving the energy will be sufficient. We need to expel that energy. And countless practices can be done to achieve that. Yoga, Kung Fu are a good way to start. Actually, Kung Fu has roots in yoga. There was this great sage that moved from India to China, and he was responsible for being the first Shaolin headmaster. And yoga roots are visible in style of martial art, which is one of the oldest, if not the oldest. And I'm gonna speak in Chinese now, so if I butcher it, if there are any people from China, please forgive me. It's Mecha Kuan, which means boxing of blossoming plum.
Mm-hmm.
And it correlates greatly with traditional Chinese medicine and the five elements because the movements are designed to work on each internal organ is very good practice if you're a beginner. But then again, don't bite more than you can chew. When it comes to practices like Neji Gong, which require you to move energy internally, be very cautious because it can easily become very, very dangerously. On the other hand, practices that are used to expel the heat from the fascia around the organs, you could ideally ignore being tired and push. So balance, basically. Life is all about balance. If you are out of balance, if you are moving from one extreme to extreme, it will damage your body to the point that you won't have energy to enjoy life. It's similar to sailing on a boat through a river. If you are obsessed and hitting rocks from one side to the other, you will damage the boat. You won't have energy to appreciate the journey, and you would want the journey to end as soon as possible. But when the journey ends, you die. It's not a marathon. So it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yeah.
By sailing in the middle, you can enjoy life. And that should be the most important thing, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us that how one can actually do all these practice. I know that you mentioned that it could be very dangerous, to do it on their own. So that means we need to find someone who is right person who can actually guide us. How we can find that right person, or what are the criteria to finding that right person?
That's a very good question. The West have the symptoms that we want things right here, right now. We forget the foundations. We focus only on the appearances. Yoga is a very good example of that. Once it has been imported from the East to the West, it literally seems that it lost its roots.
Oh.
People, instead using it to grow, focus on external things like the hardest asanas or the yoga pants, things that are irrelevant, actually.
Yeah.
It's funny because you cannot grow the soul using your ego. Using ego, you can only grow the ego, and that will hinder the process. There is also one thing that is very dangerous in the West, and it is a consequence of two advanced spiritual practices. It can be either called spiritual ego, or it can be called Kundalini syndrome. It is in the West, it's also called quantum meditation, because quantum meditation relies on connecting to the universe, that you need to open all your chakras and all of that. The chakra that correlates with the universe is the crown chakra.
Yeah.
And to have crown chakra open, it's not an easy feat. Actually, to be born on that level, to have the crown chakra open, there are entities like Jesus or Buddha. And if you are, for example, don't have those channels open, let's say you're a heart-centered person that is very
buzzwords.
The energy is gonna stuck from the head to the crown. The body is not used to handling that heat, that energy.
Yeah.
And that heat will damage the internal organs. Kundalini is practiced for both men and women. Tantra as well is a practice for both men and women to cultivate the energy from within. The sexual energy is very closely related to the brain energy. And this is a reason why older people should refrain, especially men, not women. There's no repercussion for women, but for men there is, because they should not, can I say the word ejaculate? Because there's a huge loss of energy. One orgasm for men equals, in that energy, you could repopulate the population of America. Just imagine how big of an energy that is.
Okay.
This is the reason why men, if they have too much of those activities, become latent in the mind, because sexual energy is very closely related to the brain energy, the brain fluids. And those practices like Kundalini are about drawing the energy from the tailbone to the head.
Okay.
The challenge is, if you just keeps the energy stuck in the head, it's not circulating.
Yeah.
In esoteric Tao practices, what they do, and I believe in yoga they do it too, is they place their tongue behind their teeth.
Okay.
There are 3 positions actually your tongue can make in the mouth.
Okay.
The first one, which is the most common, behind the teeth, which is called the wind. It is balances the elements in the body. If you put your tongue in the middle of your palate, it's called the fire position.
Okay.
And that position is recommended for people that have too much yin energy, too much water energy. They're lazy, they don't really do stuff, and they just need to move forward. I believe what we struggle the most as a society is we cultivate internal heat, which can be set as inflammation spot. Hence, the position of the tongue we could cultivate is as far back as possible. It is the water position from Tao, but obviously pranayama from yoga practices also know that. So there needs to be balance.
Amazing. So which position would you recommend, especially for the tongue, to actually release that energy or to have the balance in the
Yes, the position of tongue behind the teeth is called like a safety half, just to ensure the energy is flowing. Kundalini operates on chakra, and the problem is you need to, if you work on a chakra that you don't have access to, it's gonna cause you more inconvenience. So you need to do it one by one.
Okay.
And that's very dangerous, and that's without a good teacher, this will cause issues. Esoteric Tao mitigated that by meditation called microcosmic orbit, which uses the awareness of acupuncture point in the body. And you put your attention to those points, like just underneath the belly, and then just above the sexual gland, and then just between the sexual gland and anus, and it moves the back to your head, and it allows to circulate the energy without the risk that one chakra center will be overstimulated or understimulated. It becomes, you can do anything in life, but that also means that all of those things you do will come with consequences.
Yeah, that's true. So first of all, tell us that, okay, there are lots of people out there teaching these chakras and energy balance and everything. So which one or how do we, how does how do we find out that we are entering into the danger zone, or we should stop? Because there are lots of like material information available. People are doing things on their own, but what is the time when we should stop?
All of the practices should build you. Meditation itself is a tool. Tools are to be used to grow you. But if the tool is using you, that's something wrong. One of the consequences of the spiritual ego or the Kundalini syndrome is there is so much energy that the person cannot handle. As a consequence, everything in that life, if that person's life is just dissolving into bits. There's completely chaos in their life. They cannot concentrate for more than 3 seconds. And meditation should build awareness. And in this case, it's a result of just jumping too much ahead. Like the quantum jump as it's said, it could be literally explained as if you would be hiking up the mountain and just using your power of the muscles to jump ahead. There is some chance you will do that, but if you don't land the jump, you will go so lower than you were before. Yet we, as a Western society, I know you're not actually Western. You have different sages like Sufis, which are, from my understanding, they are very closely related to Taoism. I love their poetry. So what you actually need to do is do it step by step. Be very patient with it. Don't jump ahead, because in the long run, it will turn against you. You don't want to focus on appearances. You want to focus on yourself. So what that I'm not doing the hardest meditation, the hardest asana, that should be done for me. And if I'm doing just to do it, it's going to actually deplete you of energy.
So if, even when we do these like asanas and meditation, that means we should be patient, right? Because I don't know, like you talk about West also, especially those healers or those like I'm a big fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza. I don't know, Dr. Joe Dispenza or not. He does the workshops and he heal people like within days. So since although he comes up with the scientific facts also, but the thing is that I always think that there are no shortcuts. So I don't know that how it happens, and does it does it have any consequences or something?
Let me explain first about the shortcuts. This world is based on duality. You have the fire, you have the water. To give example how it works is, if you have a fever, and if the fever is high enough, you will feel cold, you will have shivers. On the other hand, if you are in the mountains very high and you're just freezing, sooner or later you will feel warm. That means that from one duality, if you go deep enough, it will go to the other extreme. So if you use the shortcut, it's most likely will become the long road. But if you choose the long road consciously, it actually will become the shortest way possible.
Yeah, that's true. I think the longest route is to practice with patience, right? Because I think the results don't come that quickly, and one needs to be patient, right? But again,
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, so I want to just ask that again, like I asked this question also before, that what are the dangers, or what are the things that when it started to happen, one must stop that, because they may be doing something wrong, right? So like when they should stop doing it on their own and start seeking help?
The problem is they won't know. They would think that they're super advanced.
Okay.
And this is the issue, because they're not.
Okay.
And this is just a matter of time when the roof will fall on their head.
Okay. That's also very dangerous, because it's gonna blow up anytime when they might not be expecting it, right? So this is
when they least expect it.
Yeah. So that's so anyway. So maybe we can not go into that extreme. Maybe you can just tell us some of the practice which are very safe and which people can do it to heal themselves, like maybe some daily practice or something which can keep them on a positive note. Yeah, it will take longer. It will take time. They need patience. But maybe some of the practice that they can do it to maybe balance the energy or to have that positivity in their own lives.
The most important thing is to give yourself love and time. The more love and time you give yourself, the less process will take. And there are so many practices that you can consciously spend countless incarnations to master them, yet you will fail to do so. So find what works for you. We actually we did spoke about the foundation, which is the routine. Assuming you have opened some postures, the flow of energy, the next step would obviously be breath. And this is a very good example because currently we have a fall, and fall correlates greatly with the lungs. And people tend to get depressed or sad during fall, and they feel nostalgia. And it greatly correlates to the fact that the lungs are the most active organ during the fall. It means that the lung sickness and illness will be the most visible, but it also means that this is the best time to clear the lungs.
Okay.
So since we already gave one example of physical exercise, we can move to the breathing exercise.
Okay.
And this will be using one of the healing sounds. The sounds that correlate with the lungs is that taste that correlates with the lungs is spice, is hot. That also shows us that if you want to fix an organ or an emotion, actually, you're feeling sadness, depressed, or grief, if you eat spicy food that are mixed correctly, it will elevate the symptoms instantly.
Oh, okay.
And all of the organs have a taste that responds to them. If you're able to cook meals that contain all of those elements, it would be super healthy. It is very good practice. I don't think at that stage you won't even need to meditate or do anything. But let's say you actually need to do, and you need to work with the breath, which we will do right now. The sound is S. You want to put your tongue in the tube behind your teeth, like throw it from the throat.
Okay.
Once that sound is mastered, you want to focus on your lungs. To help you do that, you want to put some friction behind your hands.
Okay.
And that will energize the hands. That will make the blood, the flow going.
Okay.
And it would give some heat to the lungs.
Okay.
Put awareness to the lungs. And now, once you breathe, imagine your lungs, your chest expanding, and go that breath, that oxygen going to the lung. Be aware of it.
Yeah.
And once you exhale, imagine that sound, releasing everything that is stored with the lungs. There are countless variations that you could perform. For example, and I do believe that we should start with the most physical aspects of the body so you can be accustomed to your body the most. Your body is your greatest teacher. There is no master in the world that can teach you more than your own body. Listen to it, respect to it, and the body will give you everything that you ever dreamed of. One of the variation is once we inhale, we push our chest as deep as possible while we exhale. This will allow the old oxygen to be removed. This is very important because this is why one of the reasons why the monks run in the morning to let go of the old oxygen stuck in the lungs. Because that old oxygen responds to our thoughts, to our old biases, beliefs. And if done correctly, you will be able to move forward. If not, you will be stuck in the past. So this is very important.
Okay.
Another variation of this movement is once you inhale, you put your hands up. I hope my camera will fix it or not.
Yeah, it's
And
okay.
then,
Like we can just see. Yes.
Yeah. Once you exhale, you try to move that energy to your chest. The energy correlating to lungs is very dry and it's white.
Okay.
In Ayurveda or yoga,
Mm-hmm.
the colors responds to the energy centers called chakras.
Yeah.
The white color would be after you have transcended the 7 standard chakras. In Tower practices, there are only 3 energy centers, and colors are related to the internal organs.
Yeah.
Visualizing that color will greatly amplify the lungs, health, well-being imbalances. Also, observing the nature shows us what we should do. Well, in the fall, everything, the trees are letting go of their leaves, the trees are giving birth, and the apples are falling. And it's changing. The summer just ended,
Yeah.
and it teaches that nothing lasts forever, and we should be very flexible with our understanding. Because if we are rigid, let's say, for example, I'm gonna train Kung Fu for the next 3 hours.
Yeah.
That not necessarily might serve me. It's a rigid, it's a stubbornness, and there is only one thing in the world that is rigid, and it is a dead body. It also shows us that we should go with the flow. Don't be obsessed with our ego or minds.
Yeah.
The energy from the lungs goes to the kidneys.
Okay.
It is a metaphor
Mm-hmm.
that once the fall is over, the winter starts.
Yeah.
Everything hides underneath the ground to conserve energy. So should we. We shouldn't train too much or too long, especially when it comes to endurance training. We
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't get wet. If you want to train, focus more on power and strength in those times, and you ensure in that particular season you actually are allowed to wake up a bit later than usual, than in summer, for example, when the day is longer.
Yeah.
Nature is a perfect teacher, yet we are failing to see that.
Yeah.
The sound that correlates to the kidneys is chewy.
Mm-hmm.
The color that correlates with kidney is blue. So
Okay.
if we were be to practice that healing sound,
Mm-hmm.
again, we would inhale, and you can focus either on quality or quantity, especially for someone that doesn't know the movement. You could do, it's said that you should do it at least 6 times, but if you're fully aware of the movement, just one is enough.
Okay.
So again, you want to inhale and focus on the kidneys, which are just above the lower back.
Mm-hmm.
And when you exhale, you want to imagine letting go of the old energy stuck in the kidneys. What
Okay.
energy resonates with kidneys?
Yeah.
The negative emotion
Mm-hmm.
is fears and trauma.
Yeah.
If you let go of fear and trauma, it will make space for emotions that are positive traits for kidneys: gentleness, stillness, and awareness.
Okay.
Once you build this practice and you become more familiar with your internal organs, which I believe everyone should be aware how they look, how they work, what are they responsible for, because if you don't care of your body, the body won't care about you,
Yeah.
and you won't be able to not only have a good life, you won't be able to be well. Sooner than later, if you are able to know that kidneys correlate to fears and trauma, you can actually scan the kidneys or scan your mind. When was the last time I had fears? Was it today? You could move your internal eye attention to left kidney, to right kidney, and scan it
Mm-hmm.
very gently. You could
Yeah.
just, ideally, you just want to see something small first. You don't want to move the big rocks before
Yeah.
you can move the pebbles. And once you are familiar with the practice, you'll gain experience to move forward. Not only that, you will start to believe yourself more and believe yourself in the process. What's good to consider it, especially if you're a hothead, you want things right here, right now, that you should do the practice for a week and stop. Give your body a week off and then do it again and slowly build it. Let your body adapt to it. Don't push it. You don't want to punish your body because your ego tells you to, because you are lacking or there is something wrong with you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. You're perfect as you are. You just need to embrace who you are and stop fighting yourself. Most of the issues we have is actually due to us fighting ourselves, fighting our emotions, fighting our thoughts. We want to be someone else, but I cannot be anyone else. I cannot be Amreen. I just can't. That's like the ultimate sign of not respecting oneself. And that cultivates and that energy is one of the biggest issues we have in the West, which is relating to the spleen, all those anxieties, our issues with self-esteem. Then the mainstream tells us that healthy esteem is a high esteem, which is outrageous, to be honest, because with a high self-esteem, you will just try to prove to anyone that you have high self-esteem. It is literally like low self-esteem, but on the other direction. The healthy emotion is I'm enough. If I'm enough, my actions are enough. And if my actions are enough, my results are enough. But if I'm not enough, my actions will not be enough. And my results will be not enough. So I have to grind and hustle and work 24/7. And guess what? Then you have a burnout without actually no results.
I mean, that's you explained it so beautifully, each and every aspect, especially like the way we need to balance our lives, especially balance our energy, and those exercise, especially the way to scan our organs. I think I usually also tell my kids that, you know, like our brain actually knows, like it's automatically is actually doing all the work which we don't even know. It digests food, it like it creates a like it our lungs actually oxygenate the blood. So all of the things, like heart pumps the blood, like all of these things are happening 24/7 and we don't even know. So like our brain knows already what we know. It's just that if something is going wrong and something, so like our brain already also knows how to fix it. It's just a matter of being in control and guiding our brain or telling our brain to actually fix the problem. So that's how we can do it. And you explain it in a very beautiful way that, you know, this is all energy. And we all know the fact that we are energy. We are energy beings. So we are here to actually manipulate the energy. So I know we are running out of time, and this topic is so vast that we can actually spend hours and hours on that. And I would love to actually explore this because this is one of my favorite topics as well. So thank you, Andrzej, for joining us today and sharing these wonderful exercises and insights. I love the conversation. And those who wants to connect with Andrzej, please connect with him on the LinkedIn. And he's also active on Insta and Facebook. I will share the link in the comment section. So, any last thoughts, Andrzej, for today's session?
I wish you all to be well, be peaceful, be blessed, appreciate yourself. The highest form of self-love is being authentic. Don't judge yourself compared to others, because this is a layer created by the mind to get you away from pain caused by the imbalance of the spleen. Step into your reality, family, and show the world what can you do.
I mean, then actually when we embrace ourselves as we are, then of course we are able to unleash those potential which we might also not know, but these are the real superpowers we have. So thank you so much for joining, and thanks to the Chan, and Peter and Lady Craft and all those who joined us today for this wonderful session, and hope to see you next year for this session. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank
Peter.
you all for listening.
Okay, bye.